Hi there, this is Professor Innes again, and you are now on, let's see which module this is going to be. You're now on module 10, and here we are developing liberal thought once again, particularly just with liberalism, and we're expanding it to social Darwinism, asking questions, do corporations and massive companies in any way infringe upon us as human beings and make us less free? But we'll deal with the liberalism to start with. So here, as we've said, we are dealing with lots of politics in South Park. South Park has lots of episodes dealing with politics, and we've got this overall consideration about the vote. So you're going to watch a few episodes, and there's this distinct one with the rap singer telling us that we should all vote. And I think the rap singer is threatening to kill Stan if he doesn't vote. Now, we think to ourselves, you're right, I can understand why people of yesteryear wanted to vote, but why is it important to me? And Stan has that problem. What difference does my vote make? Which is reasonable to say, because one vote doesn't really make that much difference very often anyway. So why be bothered? And he does end up voting for the school mascot, and it makes no difference whatsoever. So we think to ourselves, what is the importance here of the vote? What difference does it make? And this is very important to us at the moment. We've got the presidential election coming up, and we've got Trump on one side and Hillary Clinton the other side. And we may think, this is the same dilemma as Stan is experiencing. Really, what a choice. And I can't remember choosing these two people in any way whatsoever. Yet I have to give my consent. Do I have to give my consent to either of these people? Because after all, it's the same dilemma as Stan, that you're choosing between two unsavory options. So again, it's pertinent to us at the moment, and it's all part of democracy. And we've seen this with the British election to leave the European Union. Lots of people have voted to stay in the European Union, but they're basically being ignored. That's a problem. So in that sense, we have this as an up-to-date consideration that is very relevant. So asking that question about what is the vote. So if we look at the philosophers, John Locke would say this is an opportunity for giving consent. We give consent to those people who have been chosen. So we are in fact involved. I am participant in this democratic process because I give my consent to either Trump or Clinton. So for Locke that sounds okay, but Locke was back in the age when very few people got the vote. So in fact it probably did make a difference that you were one of the very few to vote, so therefore your consent made a difference. J.S. Mill later on, 150 years after Locke, put forward the idea that we are involved with a participant within a community of thinking political people. So in that sense, it is important to vote. So we do have the arguments which you're going to read through in the text to say that voting is important, but still Stan's got problems, and we are going to be sympathetic with those problems. Does this vote actually mean anything whatsoever? I've got concerns about every time I hear a president talk about the American people. Who are they talking about? Are we talking about people under 18 years old included as American people? Are we talking about those people who have an income below $100,000 a year? Are they the American people? Or it could be below $1 million dollars a year income. Are they the American people? So who are these people? And again, it's all about democracy. It's all about representation. Does this vote make a difference? If you don't have real power outside the vote, do you have any power? Is the vote important? So, we've discussed these considerations, and as we could reflect back to certain things about the tyranny of the majority, and with the British example with the European election, there is a bit of a tyranny there. Lots of people have been left out. We're talking about 10 million people and their opinions not being recognised. That is the tyranny of those people who have won. So is that a problem as well? And again, it's about democracy, it's about representation. Does the vote count? Does it mean anything? So I'm going to leave that for you to discuss. Please keep in mind that when you're asked your opinion or your thoughts or what you think, it is your thoughts or opinions based upon the use of the information in the text and also the cartoons. So please make it relevant to the subject matter. Please don't go and write about something else or just your opinion in general. So opinion and thoughts are based upon the material, therefore you are now expressing an informed opinion about the given matter we're discussing. So that's the vote, and quite an entertaining discussion on the vote. The next bit is on social Darwinism. This is discussing the corporations, and again it's about representation. Corporations are now a natural part of everyday life, as it says in the text, but we still ask the question, do we need them? Do they help us? Do people abuse their positions in these corporations? Do we have a situation whereby I could do without these corporations because they're not any good for us? But as the general discussion goes, it seems like these corporations are to a great extent democratic. They do represent people's interests. So every time you go and buy a Starbucks coffee or you go and buy a new computer, you're in fact supporting the corporations. But again, there are rooms for complaint. Lately, it's been Walmart has been accused of being very helpful to the local community, and once that community is no longer profitable, they then close their shop. All the jobs are lost, and the people have nowhere to go and shop because the small shops which once existed have closed down. So that might be an example of corporate abuse, that Walmart are not being very democratic. They're not representing those people they once served because simply they're not profitable anymore. And I believe, I haven't done the research on this, so be careful, there's something like 130 shops have been shut throughout the United States. So it's a lot of communities which will be affected, and again, these tend to be poor communities. They don't shut shop in an area whereby lots of people go and get their shopping. So the one down Overland, I doubt it if that's going to ever shut because it's full of people every time I go there. So these corporations are asking the questions: are they representative? Are they helpful? Are we to be critical of them? So you think about that, please, and again, from the information in the text and the cartoons, give a discussion and analysis, please, of these views on social Darwinism and the corporations. Okay, I'm going to leave that at that for now. Gone on for nearly 9 minutes, and I think that's enough of my talking. Right, so please send emails, ask questions, anything whatsoever about the course. So I'll speak to you soon in the journals particularly. Okay, speak to you soon. Bye-bye.